Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. If you are a cyber professional or aspiring professional, staying current on the current news in our industry is critically important, both to crush job interviews and to be able to deliver cyber risk reduction for your business stakeholders. And over the next hour, that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this show. Welcome, everybody, to episode 931 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, as always, Dr. Gerald Auger. And over the next hour, we are going to shred the top cyber news stories of the day. We'll go through the top headlines, dig into the actual story and the meat of itself, but then the value prop. The reason you want to be hanging around here giving out crispy high fives to everybody is because we're going to go deeper beneath the surface and actually data mine out value from these stories. Can we use them as case studies to get budget? Can we use them as learning opportunities? For those who are new to the industry, can us seasoned old grizzled people look at the story and say, dude, you're going to see this all the time. You'll never see this in a classroom or a textbook, but this is the reality. Let's educate and mentor and share at scale. I am super pumped for it. I do want to say good morning to all of the Simply Cyber community, whether it's Spandex Thunderstorm and you're relatively new, or you're a blue badge carrying member like Not Only IT, ZMIF, Tony Jack, Mara Levy, Augusta Delgado, Legrat. So many of you in chat. As always, love the support. DP, KP down the hall. As always, guys, we got a great show for you. I want you to know that every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE. So if you're maintaining cybersecurity certifications and you want to, basically get CPEs easily, do me a favor. Make sure that you're getting credit for each of these episodes. This is episode 931, worth half a CPE. Say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot. You'll notice chat is on stage with me, as always. Plus, the title of the show has the date in it. Not a coincidence, guys. I make it as simple as I can for everybody to scoop up the CPEs. You get a CPE, Lara Flores. You get a CPE, Haircut Fish. You get a CPE, Rhonda Rummerfield. We're just doing it for days up in this piece, 931 days, in fact, in a row. Now, I want everyone to know that it's Thursday, and every single day of the week here at Simply Cyber has a special segment. And Thursdays is What's Your Meme Thursday by this talented, wonderful professional, Dan Reardon, who's in chat right now, a.k.a. the Haircut Fish. You can say hi to him. He's quite friendly, quite cool, and he makes custom memes every week that I unveil at the mid-roll, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. And, of course, stay tuned to the end, because after every Daily Cyber Threat Brief, we do Jawjacking, which is a large-scale Ask Me Anything mentoring session. I got 20 years of experience. I love sharing, I love helping, and I do it for 30 minutes every day at the end of this show. So lots of reasons to stick around, lots of reasons to high five and have fun. Guys, if today is your first episode and you're getting settled in, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party.
I would like to personally welcome you and hope that you have a wonderful time. If you have a bad experience, let us know, and I will do everything in my power to get it sorted out and get you back on track. And if you are having a great experience, let us know. That's part of the fun, right? Or let a friend know and bring them in over here. This is not Fight Club, although we do fancy ourselves as pretty cool up in this piece. It's not Fight Club. You are allowed to talk about Team SC and the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief. In fact, we encourage it. So, all right, we got to go, and we got to cook. And I do got to say, or I would like to say, shout out to the stream sponsors as always. Thank you, Barricade Cyber, Antisyphon, ThreatLocker, and Flare for sponsoring the show and enabling me to bring this hotness to, to Team SC. So let's run through the sponsors really quick. I do want to say shout out to Flare Academy. Many of you may not know about Flare Academy. Flare.io is actually a wicked awesome cyber threat intelligence platform. Let me just show it to you really quickly. Flare.io. This cyber intelligence platform is my favorite, okay? I love what they're doing over there. I have a sneaky suspicion, like I wish I could invest in this company. This show's not about financial advice, but like I love this product and I believe in what they're doing. But they are a sponsor and they offer this free community initiative, the Flare Academy training. And it says Academy training, but really what it is they bring in industry experts to do 2-hour webinars. And on August 13th, Kevin Johnson, CEO from Secure Ideas and huge Star Wars fan, I guess he's also a Lord of the Rings fan, but he's very openly card-carrying Star Wars fan, is going to be giving a talk on web application testing. This is absolutely free. You can go to this for $0 and learn from a guy who's got like 30 years of experience, and he's just awesome. Go to flare.io/trainings. All these are linked in the description below. The cool thing is, after the talk is over, you can actually hop on Discord and ask Kevin questions directly. So it's pretty dope. You definitely want to scoop in on that. What you also might want to do is, while you're getting those Flare Academy trains, you can let Barricade Cyber Solutions hop into your M365 instance and harden the living crap out of it using their Fortified 365 service. What does this mean? Listen, if you are running M365, okay, as your back-end environment, you're logging into Office or Azure or whatever, your M365, there are so many granular controls for security in the M365 environment, it can become quite overwhelming. And if you don't know what you're doing, you could be missing out on amazing opportunities to harden your environment, make it not hackable, or make it less hackable, while not impacting end-user performance or operations. But how do you know what to do? Well, go to barricadecyber.com/fortified365, get those answers. You literally can call Eric right now. His phone number's right here on stage to talk about it. So Barricade Cyber, harden your M365 environment against tomorrow's threats today. Of course, Antisyphon training. Everybody enjoys a good Antisyphon training. They have their Blue Team Summit coming up in August. They offer a cutting-edge cybersecurity education to everyone, regardless of financial position. They're big advocates. I actually model Simply Cyber and Simply Cyber Academy off of Black Hills and Antisyphon, if you didn't know. Love the work they're doing. They're running workshops all the time. You can see, if you go to their website, link in the description below, you can actually see what they have coming up for August. And I just want to remind everybody, several Simply Cyber community members are speaking at Blue Team Summit in August. This right here, I'm going to pump the stock on this one. Guys, check this out. This is a legit opportunity. This is happening in mid-August. Plenty of time for you to get your stuff sorted out. John Strand does 3 different trainings for Antisyphon training over the course of the year. All 3 are pay what you can, so you can take them for $0. All of them are taught by John Strand, who's an amazing cyber professional as well as instructor. And this one is getting started in security with MITRE ATT&CK and Black Hills. This is a foundational step 1 class. If you are working in a different industry and looking to break into cyber, if you're cyber curious, if you're just looking to reinforce the fundamentals because you've been going down a deep rabbit hole into like AppSec or something, this course is awesome. 4 days, 4 hours per day, 16 total hours, tons of labs and hands-on experience. Another like implicit value is that there's thousands of students in these classes every time, and you can connect and engage with them because it's done through Discord. So if you're looking to like make new friends, build relationships, reinforce your learning, everything about this is awesome. Go to antisyphontraining.com, link in the description below. I'll try to drop a link, but these links are usually too long. Oh, there we go. Boom, baby, boom. All right. All right, we got Delete Me also, but, or no, we don't. We have ThreatLocker. So let's hear from ThreatLocker. When we get back, we are going to do the news. Let's go. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker
can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com.
All right, now do me a favor, sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us in an awesome wave. I do want to say quick shout out and love to Space Tacos and everybody else who is a big fan of hashtag Team Sippy Cup. I'm getting ready for Vegas next week, so I figured I'd start getting the Sippy Cup in the rotation. For those who don't know, just because of the inside joke situation, this is my travel coffee mug. It collapses down. I think it's quite utilitarian for what I do and how I travel, but it does look like a child sippy cup, and it should say like, step 1 on the side of it or something like that. So everybody loves it when I drink out of it, so I always make it a big point to let people know. Let's go, everyone. Oh, hold on. Sean Saylor's dropping squad memberships. Love the work being done here. Awesome community. Always my first go-to when asking questions. Thanks, Sean Sailors. Appreciate it. And definitely happy that you're getting value. There's Space Tacos and the Sippy Cups loves. All right, let's cook.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Thursday, July 31st, 2025. I'm Hadass Kasorla. Oh no, Lenovo. Lenovo has issued urgent firmware updates for several of its all-in-one desktop models to patch a set of high-severity vulnerabilities that could allow attackers to bypass secure boot protections. The flaws were discovered in customized Inside H2O UEFI firmware by security firm Binarly and affect Idea Center AIO3 and Yoga AIO models. Exploiting these bugs could let attackers gain elevated privileges and install stealthy malware at the firmware level. You sunk my bat.
Okay, hold on. First of all, this reporter, she's new to the CISO series crew, Hadass Kasoria. I've got to get her on the channel. She just sounds like bubbly, full of personality, and an absolute delightful person. So if you are listening or you're catching this on replay or you're lurking, Hadass, love what you're bringing. It took me a minute to get used to it because at first, her first show, she sounded like AI, but she's legit and I love it. All right, so check it out. Lenovo laptops, which I'm a big. So here, listen, I am a Lenovo fan. In fact, I'm actually using a Lenovo machine right now. I used to be Dell laptops. People always ask, "Oh, what laptop should I get if I'm getting a Windows PC?" I hate HP, so I can promise you this, Simply Cyber, you'll never see an HP sponsorship on the channel because I will sewer HP all day. I mean, the product's awful, but I like Dell, right? And then now I've upgraded or whatever. I've moved into Lenovo's. And I'm almost positive Lenovo is like the commercial grade IBM computers. So you get good quality, not a sponsor. But my point is when we're looking at here's my point. When you look at stuff like this, right? You've got to be mindful of what the brand is, right? So if this said new whatever kind of off-brand weird company you've never heard of, firmware laptop updates could whatever, you're like, yeah, it makes sense. They probably cut a ton of corners to drive the price down. But Lenovo's legit. UEFI firmware, I am by no means an expert. Excuse me. I am old though, so I can tell you if you're familiar with BIOS, like the lightweight operating system that boots up when you turn the power on your computer and then that loads your master boot record for your Windows operating system. That's BIOS. UEFI is essentially like BIOS plus, right? As far as my understanding goes, there's BIOS and then BIOS kicks into UEFI and then UEFI kicks into the master boot record on the Windows operating system. There could be some shenanigans where it's just like BIOS sideloads UEFI and then runs the Windows boot record in parallel. But long story short, the UEFI is a fancier BIOS that allows you to do security stuff in addition to all the things, right? I'm almost positive this is where like the TPM chip kind of plays around, the trusted party module, trusted party module, security stuff. But because it is security, threat actors and researchers alike are interested in understanding it and then reversing it and then bypassing it. Guys, like here's a pro tip. I don't care if it's UEFI or it's Fizz Bang Wackadoo Jim Jam in 2030, right? Like whatever, silly name they come up with then. Wherever and whenever there is a security feature introduced for our industry or for IT, some researchers already working, some threat actor is already working on how to circumvent it. That is the nature of the game. That's why this industry is awesome. You will never be bored in this industry because it's always changing. I'll give you a quick, historical thing, right? Look at Windows operating system, okay? Buffer overflow, right? Smash the stack for fun and profit. The seminal paper, go Google it. It's a seminal paper about doing a buffer overflow and writing, basically writing over memory where the stack pointer goes and being able to, or the instruction pointer, and then being able to control flow of execution on memory, okay? Well, Windows was like, well, we can't have, or Microsoft was like, we can't have that. So then they introduced ASLR, right? Not to be confused with Daniel Lowry's ASMR and his Monster Energy drink. Space Tacos gifted subs. Thanks, Space Tacos.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
All right. Hey, if you're one of the 10 people picking up gifted subs from Space Tacos, make sure to say thank you, Space Tacos. She's great. Definitely all about good times. So really quick, ASLR was essentially randomizing in memory where Windows internal functions went. So you could, well, hold on. They came out with DEP, data execution protection, so you couldn't execute code in line, right? It would be protected spaces, and ASLR to control not being able to know where functions were in memory. So then people got around that. So then they introduced control flow guard, right? Which made it so you couldn't control where the flow of the instruction pointer went and stuff like that. So it's constantly a cat and mouse game back and forth. This is just another one. For this particular one, the secure boot can be bypassed. So essentially, I'm almost positive, it doesn't say it in the story, but I'm almost positive this would require someone to physically steal your computer, right? Yeah, okay, it does. See how it says enabling local attackers? I've highlighted it on stream right now. Someone would physically have to have your box. So whenever you're screwing around with BIOS or UEFI, chances are a threat actor needs physical access, which incredibly limits the risk profile and the threat landscape because, frankly, I mean, it's not uncommon for you to leave your laptop in your office for the night or forget it on an airplane or an Uber, but now it becomes a crime of opportunity, right? Like if some nation-state threat actors gonna drop malware on your face, right? They're not going to send an asset to your house to break in and, dink with your laptop. They're just gonna send you a phishing email, or they're gonna send a phishing email to someone who works with you, or to your kids, or to your dentist, or whatever, and they're gonna get you that way. Are you kidding me, dude? I'm not saying that we're lazy, but here's the reality. People in IT, people in cyber, I don't care if you're a good guy, a bad guy, whatever. I don't want to say we're lazy, but we do like doing things that are the smooth, they have the least friction. So if my boss is like, listen, I need you to steal these secrets, okay, whatever, info steal, whatever. My choices are to inconvenience myself and fly around the world, get a hotel, eat local cuisine. Jesus, if I have to travel outside the United States, I can't find a normal sized cup of coffee. Are you kidding me? Or I can just craft a phishing email, fire it away, and then go, watch Patriots preseason or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just being real. Having said that, you definitely want to get this fixed, okay? But I don't know if there is a patch for it. You gotta patch it. And sometimes when you're updating BIOS and stuff, it's not as simple. Go look at friggin' CrowdStrike when the CrowdStrike hit happened and you had to boot into safe mode. That wasn't the easiest thing to do. So TLDR, this is definitely not something you want to screw with. Anything UEFI is not something you want to mess with. As a best practice, personally, I don't do it, but probably twice a year. Boot in and just look at firmware updates and see what's available. Yeah, you can see here, UEFI is a modern replacement for the traditional BIOS acting. So it replaced BIOS. It's not BIOS plus plus. I should have said this in the thank you. I should have said this in the opening. I've been tinkering with the opening to be more crystal clear about the value of this show, since some people were like, what are we doing here? This guy just rants for 10 minutes and plays awful music, which I disagree with on both of those points. But I don't research or prep for these stories. I have no idea what stories are going to be coming up. Okay. There's only one story today that I did research. It's uncommon for me to read the stories, but I was intrigued. I have no idea why. It does have to do with an adult topic, or, an adult. We'll get to it. Okay.
Ship. Or did you? Hackers calling themselves Neferpitou have leaked 13 gigabytes of internal documents belonging to French submarine manufacturer Naval Group. Everything from combat system source code and simulation software to weapons configurations and internal communications. They claim to have up to a terabyte of stolen data, and the leaked materials appear both legitimate and highly sensitive. Naval Group says it has found no evidence of a breach in its internal systems, no confirmed intrusions, no operational disruption. But somehow, its proprietary data is now circulating online. French authorities and cybersecurity experts are investigating, though the company is currently treating the event as a reputational attack rather than a verified compromise. Neferpitou hasn't explained how they got the data, offered no ransom demand, and issued only a cryptic 72-hour ultimatum followed by the message, "Enjoy and see you next time." The data is real, but the path it took to get out is still a mystery. Russians unable to get a taste of their own medicine. A cyber attack.
Oh, hold on. It's hard to know when she goes on to the next story. All right. So yeah, this French government contractor who has blueprints, to nuclear submarines or, modern Navy weapon systems got hacked. Now, this is currently an interesting case study that GRC people, my GRC Mafia folks, we do have we have an emote for that. If you're a squad member, one of the 10 new ones who Space Taco's hooked up, you can giddy up on that GRC Mafia graphic. Listen, here's the deal. As a case study, a threat actor, it starts with a threat actor surfacing saying that they've got all this data of this company, right? Let's make this your company, okay? So Priceless Pancake. We'll use Priceless Pancake, okay? So Priceless Pancake's company is just bumping along, and then all of a sudden a threat actor comes out and says, yo, we've got we downloaded 250 terabytes of data from your company, and you got 72 hours. Now, immediately, the Naval Group, or Priceless Pancake's company in this case, did an investigation to see if they had been breached, and they've determined they haven't been, okay? So now it turns into a he said, she said. The company says, we didn't do anything. Nothing's screwed here, man. And the threat actor's like, yes, it is, okay? So now they haven't asked for a ransom. They did disclose some data, and the data seems, Naval Group is saying the data is from an old data breach, okay? So there's a lot going on here, okay? They're saying this might be an attack on reputational, like with a reputational harm angle. You typically, when we talk about impact in cybersecurity, the reputational one kind of gets pushed to the back of the room, or the back of the elevator or whatever. But it is a real one. Hold on, I'm trying to get comfortable. It is a real one, but oftentimes reputational harm is seen as a tangential, like basically catching a stray kind of situation where healthcare company gets breached, and then people are like, oh, I don't want to, I have I have a lifestyle that's not socially acceptable, right? I'm into I don't know, drinking blood or something like that. So I don't want to go to my local healthcare provider because I don't want my community to know that. Sorry, Priceless Pancake. Using your business kind of just didn't make sense anymore. So I'm the local lawyer, or I'm the mayor of the town or whatever, but I also have a fetish of drinking blood. I don't know, something bizarre, right? So I don't want to go to my local healthcare provider because they have data breaches all the time, and I'm concerned about my data, my lifestyle getting out. So I drive 50 miles to another town and get my healthcare providers, right? So that is reputational harm. This particular instance is unique as far as I know in my 20 plus years of experience, because what they're saying is that the explicit objective of this attack is to discredit this naval group business and undermine them. Now, I can tell you this is not out of the realm of possibility, and I'll tell you why. There is possibility that there are some clauses in the government contracts, and make no mistake, these are probably very, very valuable, like millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars of government contracts. They're making submarines, okay? Those aren't cheap as last time I checked. Like Costco doesn't have a special on, buy 3 submarines and you get a discount rate, all right? So there may be a clause in the government contract around this company suffering breaches or having incidents or something like that that somehow like unlocks them, or maybe they're unlocks them from having competitors. They could be coming up for government contract recompetes, and this is part of the play of diminishing their ability to win that contract. I'm not sure. Okay, I don't know what the objective is. It could just be some punk kid who found some data and is trying to make a big deal about it. I doubt it, but it could be. The TLDR is the French, this naval group did what they needed to do. They did an investigation. They have a level of confidence that they did not suffer a data breach, and they're moving forward, ignoring this threat actor who's honestly not doing themselves any help. So this is a case study on how to handle it. If your company, you come in today and you hear that you've got a data breach and you don't have ransom notes on endpoints, this is a good way to handle it. So just GRC Mafia people may want to take a note, not necessarily this exact step-by-step play, but the broader brushstrokes of how this company's handling it.
It's crippled major pharmacy chains across Russia, forcing hundreds of stores offline. Stolichki and Neopharm, together operating over 1,100 locations, confirmed service disruptions that impacted payments, prescriptions, and loyalty systems, with some stores shuttered entirely. The chains share ownership ties and may have jointly been targeted, though no group has claimed responsibility. Russia's internet regulator, Roskomnadzor, ruled out a DDoS attack but offered no further details. The incident follows a wave of cyber attacks on Russian infrastructure, including hits on aviation and liquor distribution systems. The guards gotcha.
All right, hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to figure this out. So, I mean, a couple of things. One, it's Russia. Okay, so already it's ooh, intrigue. But it sounds very similar to, I guess, Change Healthcare. The Change Healthcare attack, right, which impacted literally healthcare services and pharmacies. But because the reason that it impacted so many in this case, 1,000 stores, is because they probably all hooked into one centralized service. Same with Power School and US-based K through 12 systems, right? This is the trade-off when you go with SaaS providers for essentially decentralized solutioning, right? If you're on M365 for your backend infrastructure, right? M365 probably has tens of thousands of clients, hundreds of thousands of businesses, right? If M365 goes down, lots of people go down. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what happened. I have no doubt. I can say with high confidence, there's no way a threat actor individually attacked 1,000 stores all at once. That's insane. They attacked some upstream service provider. So this is a supply chain issue, one to get mindful of. Okay, not the one that you really going to have a business continuity plan for. They're working to restore all services with half stores reopened. I mean, this is pretty good. They got hit on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, half the stores were back open. So that's actually kind of a... In the world of cyber attacks, no offense, I'm definitely painting a target on myself, but they said in the story that it was not a distributed denial of service attack. So if we take that out of the case, this environment was down for like less than a day. Either this is the most exceptional business continuity plan I've ever heard of in my life, or this threat actor is kind of weak sauce. You know what I mean? Like normally a business is down 3, 4, 5 days. They limp back up. This one they were down like a day, you know? So something didn't happen correctly here, or something happened exceptionally well, depending on whose side you're on. The impact is quite huge, though. Like when you start making it so you can't give people their drugs, right? Their medicines, their pharmaceuticals. You're talking real human impact, and like kind of a low key terror attack. They didn't attribute it to anyone, but Russia is in a land war with Ukraine right now, but by their own volition. So this is weird. So on Wednesday, one of St. Petersburg's largest ISPs suffered a DDoS attack. Okay. So even though they saying that this attack on these pharmacies was not a DDoS, there was a DDoS the next day anyway. So I don't know. Cyber, it's so weird to me, guys. Like here's maybe the point wasn't to disrupt everything, okay? I definitely don't want to. I don't know enough about the details other than this to criticize the threat actor group for being weak sauce. Okay, let me back that up. All right. Second of all, just something that I'm personally following as an academic, as a student of cybersecurity and history. I just want to share this with everyone. For years and years and years, the idea was the next conflict will be the cyber Pearl Harbor. The next war will be fought on the internet. Like, don't even, like, just, you might as well decommission all the planes and the tanks and everything and just put everybody on a keyboard, because the next war is all that. And Russia invaded Ukraine, and it really didn't happen. They had some initial cyber attacks at the beginning. The cyber capability is complementary to the actual kinetic warfare. And this war's been going on for 3 years now. So it's just interesting as a student to see cyber initially used on insertion. Then it was kind of just used like whatever to disrupt and terrorize and whatever, kind of be a pain in the butt. And now 3 years later, we're seeing a bit of an uptick, at least I am, or it's being reported on these more cyber attacks. So I'm almost wondering if the land war piece has reached not a stalemate, but a certain level of it's not developing as well on the in the IRL space. So they're increasing the cyberspace. I'm not sure. It's interesting though. Again, I'm really studying the use of cyber in this Russian-Ukrainian conflict, simply because both Russia and Ukraine are quite capable at cyber, and it is a major global conflict with two superpowers, or two large powers.
Covered, don't ya know? A cyber attack struck St. Paul, Minnesota on July 25th, 2025, disabling city systems and prompting a state of emergency. When the scope outpaced local resources, Governor Tim Walz authorized the deployment of the Minnesota National Guard's Cyber Protection Team on July 28th to help contain the damage. The Guard is now working with the FBI, state agencies, and private security firms to investigate and restore services. Critical systems like 911 remain operational, but public Wi-Fi, payment systems, and online services were taken offline. As of now, no group has claimed responsibility, and officials have not identified the source of the attack. Huge thing.
All right. Yeah, I mean this news is a couple days ago. St. Paul, major city in Minnesota, got hit. Tim Walz is the governor up there. You may remember Tim Walz. He was Kamala Harris's vice presidential candidate in the 2024 presidential campaign. He's basically like a grizzled high school football coach, kind of. Dude, he activated the National Guard like from Jump Street. This is another technique, right? And as a CISO or a CIO or a CEO, like when you suffer an obvious cyber attack, you, in my opinion, you shouldn't F around, right? You should just execute your incident response plan. And it sounds like Minnesota was like, all right, hey, if we get hit, call in the guard. I just want to point out really quickly, the speed at which he called in the National Guard doesn't surprise me, because if you go back, Minneapolis school system got hit with a ransomware attack by Medusa ransomware, like maybe, I want to say 18 months ago, 12 to 18 months. Someone can fact check me on that. I definitely know about it. But that was a pretty devastating hit. So I'm almost certain that after that incident happened, there was a lessons learned done, and they probably determined at that time that it would have been beneficial to escalate quicker. And because of that, I'm speculating, that's why this happened with the speed at which it did. Organizing and coordinating National Guard to deploy into an environment, it's not a video game where you like just push the A button, right? Or, whatever, hold left bumper and hit X a couple times, and like the National Guard deploys into the room like it's Maniac Mansion drank, right? It's definitely like, just because you have like 50 National Guard people show up, which ones are on the keyboard? Who's doing what? How does your existing workforce from IT at the state level integrate with the National Guard people, right? There's a lot of logistics. There's a lot of communication that needs to happen. So that was definitely all sorted out, I guarantee you, in advance. Obviously, I hope that this doesn't cause long-term disruption. I also hope that they're able to recover faster from the cyber attack. Now, a ransomware threat actor has not been denoted. I do want to point out, as I always do with this thing, it's not uncommon for ransomware threat actors to kind of have a delay or a lag, because sometimes they're like sending out, I don't want to say their kill chain is like automated, but sometimes they're sending out mass emails or, mass phishing, mass watering hole, like not mass watering hole, like watering holes, but they don't know who's going to come to the watering hole and drink the poison, right? So this could have happened, and the threat actors are not fully aware of it. Also, it's possible that the threat actors know who it is, but they are beginning to either figure out how much they want to charge for the ransom. So that takes a little bit of time, because they're going to mine through the files that they've been able to data exfil to figure out who the victim is, what their annual revenue is, and what's the most amount of money that they can get out of them. Also, this is a state entity. They may know that the state of Minnesota is not going to pay the ransom, so there's no point in moving forward and trying to get attribution or giving attribution to law enforcement, since there's no benefit to the threat actor in this case. If I had to guess, okay, oh my gosh, who's the one that's really good at like state and local? I feel like it's like Vice ransomware is not, they're known for hitting state and local municipality. Black Cat Alv, but they're defunct now. Like Ransom Hub. So I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but if I had to get, here's my hot take on this one. The threat actor will come forward within the next like 5 days and identify who they are and try to get some money, since it is, a state entity that's serving the public. So there is probably pressure. I'd also point out, just again, this is not Threat Actor Academy. I'm not out here trying to teach you how to be bad, but just as a matter of practice, if I was going to be a threat actor and I was going to attack the state of Minnesota, I would have attacked in the winter. Just from an impact perspective, you could have it could have been a little bit more dicey when you're dealing with winter and snow and stuff like that. Okay.
Thanks to our sponsor, DropZone AI. Security teams everywhere are drowning in alerts. That's why companies like Zapier and CBTS turn to DropZone AI, the leader in autonomous alert investigation. Their AI investigates everything, giving your analysts time back for real security work. No more 40-minute rabbit holes. If you're at Black Hat, find them in Startup City. Otherwise, check out their self-guided demo at dropzone.ai. This is how modern SOCs are scaling without burning out.
All right. We are a couple minutes behind, but I'm having a good time, so I'm okay with it. All right. Holla, 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 holla. Hey, thank you all for being here today. Special shout out to Tyler Rambo in Mod Chat and in the blue-green room. Whatever. Phil Stafford's in the house. CJ, we're going to see you next week. Guys, if you're at Black Hat DEF CON next week, I do want to give you a high five. Crispy, we will be at the Simply Cyber Community Meetup. There's still time to get on that. Let me get the URL for you guys. There is a $5 registration fee. All of it, 100% of the $5 goes to Black Girls Hack. It's a fundraiser. We, Tyler, myself, anyone involved with Simply Cyber is getting $0 from this. In fact, Tyler and I are actually making negative $3,000 on this because we're covering the bar check and the tip for the staff. So just come out, have a good time. We are doing the registration so we don't violate fire code, and make sure that the people who register want to be there. Here's a link for that. Come on down. It's Friday, August 8th, 4 to 7 p.m. at Beer Zombies Brewing down in Las Vegas. Shout out to CJ for hooking that up. All right, guys. Hey, every single day of the week has a special segment. And Thursdays is reserved for What's Your Meme Thursday. Dan Reardon's been a busy bee. And he's working at it. Now, some of you may or may not know, I'm about to leave New England. I'm going to go to Vegas and then back to the Low Country. So my Massachusetts time is come nearly to an end. I'm originally from just outside Boston. You may have noticed I've been swearing a little bit more lately. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. But Dan Reardon took that as inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your Simply Cyber meme of the week from Dan Reardon. There we go. It's me, your cyber professional from Boston. This, by the way, is so on brand, okay? Really quickly, there's some obvious things in here, right? The lobster, the Boston Terrier, the Sam Adams. But what I really want to call your attention to and what makes this legit, okay? Number one, the hat right here. This is absolutely this is like a dude who lives in Somerville, or back in the day. Somerville's been gentrified, but like Everett, Lynn, Saugus, sitting there, the Larry Bird penny underneath, 100%. You're gonna see this. You're gonna see this down at Kelly Park in Somerville, wandering around. The large over-ice dunks, dude, and then even the subtle, like the porch itself, dude. The little stoop sitting out front on the stoop. Dude, all day, every day, this is Boston. This is not downtown Boston. This is a suburb. But this is it right here. Come on down. Hey, tell your mother I said hi. Tell your mom I said hi. We're going to go down to Sully's and get some scratchies. All right, let's get our la-la-las on, okay? All right. I'll tell you what, that Casey Affleck Dunks commercial is 100% accurate. So here you go, your cyber guy from Boston. I just want to let the chat know I have lived in the Low Country for 16 years. We're getting close to, not entirely, but we're getting close to. I've lived outside of Massachusetts longer than I lived in it. I used to be a huge Dunks guy. I can tell you definitively, I love the Bruins. Not a big Celtics fan. The Red Sox are dead to me. They crossed me. Josh Beckett, chicken and beers. I can't go back to that. And Sam Adams, I'm burnt out. I drank so many Sam Adams summer on my honeymoon that it's just All right, let's cook. Some extra tidbits Tuesday there, I guess. Jeepers creepers, Jerry.
When they go low, we go high. IBM's annual Cost of a Data Breach report, released July 30th, 2025, reveals a sharp split between global and U.S. trends. Worldwide, the average cost of a data breach fell 9% to $4.44 million. That's the first drop in 5 years, thanks largely to faster detection and containment. In contrast, U.S. breach costs climbed nearly 9% to a record of $10.22 million, driven by rising regulatory penalties, detection and escalation costs, and increased labor expenses. The report also highlights growing AI-related risks. 13% of breaches involved AI tools or models, and 97% of those lacked proper access controls. Shadow AI alone added an average $670,000 to breach recovery costs.
All right. So a couple things. One, dude, there's a couple reports that come out annually. Verizon's data breach incident report, IBM's X-Force, which is this one. The Ponymon Institute's always dropping some. There are certain reports that are just literal gold mines for statistics and valid statistics, right? So GRC people, we're always having to put decks together and make compelling arguments and kind of explain what the reality of the situation is. These reports are freaking gold, okay? And I get it. Perplexity AI is really good. You should still get through these things. I will tell you, I haven't done this myself, but this just occurred to me. I would actually take this report and drop it into a Claude AI and then say things like, hey, I'm putting together a deck for whatever, the risk committee of the board, and I want to highlight things. My business is a mid-sized manufacturing company, $750 million annual revenue, and we have 19 locations in the United States, whatever. What are 3 insightful metrics that I can pull from this that can help me compel and bring insight to the fact that we need to invest in EDR? Just as a pro tip, okay? I'm working on an AI lecture for my GRC course. So if you are currently enrolled in my my ear, dude, bro. If you are enrolled in my GRC analyst masterclass, you're about to get a new AI lecture in the risk module. But anyways, or risk and security awareness. But this is awesome. Okay. Look at these metrics, okay? The reason that these are so awesome is because they have millions of data points, okay? This isn't just some jackwagon who works at a company that interviewed 8 people and then came up with these sweeping statistical insights on that, right? 99% of people think that, it's pronounced GIF, not GIF, right? And it's because you interviewed 8 people and you know what I mean? The sample size sucked. IBM definitely knows this, right? Okay, so let's look at these things. Number one, $4.4 million average cost of a data breach. This is down 9% from last year. Here's the thing, guys. This isn't going to resonate. If you're a small company, right? If you're a $3 million a year company, and I come at you and the average cost of a data breach is $4 million. So if you have a data breach, you're going to go out of business immediately. The CEO is going to be like, oh, I guess I'll take those chances because what difference does it make, right? These numbers are not filtered on, business size or industry. So you've got to use these numbers carefully, all right? It's like anything else, right? I just want to point this out. This report's great. These metrics are awesome. But here's the TLDR. Be careful when you're using metrics to tell a story, because if you go way over the the expectations and you kind of jump the shark, you're going to lose your audience, right? So again, like a $3 million a year company is $7, $8, $10 million a year. Like, let's say you're a landscape architect company and you've got like 3 designers on board and you're making golf courses or you're doing like plants for business parks or something like that, right? And you make $7, $8 million a year. You cannot come at them and say, you need to invest $2 million in security because we need to bring down this risk, because if you suffer one data breach, you're going to go out of business. That's not true. So don't say it. This information's good, but use it wisely. Alpha Sierra says, I'm pretty sure I've been around just a little longer than 19 months. First couple months were under my other name. Let's go. All right, Alpha Sierra. We'll just add +3. How's that? So Alpha Sierra, 22 months. Priceless Pancake with a super chat. Thanks, Priceless Pancake.
Become best friends. Yep.
Jerry, GIF every day. We stray more from Jod. All right.
In Mumbai, cyber losses quadruple. Over the last year and a half, Mumbai has lost over 1,100 crore rupees, which is approximately 135 million US dollars, to cyber fraud. Most of the losses came from fake trading platforms, crypto scams, and impersonation tactics like digital arrests. That's where victims are threatened with fabricated legal charges and coerced into handing over their savings. Authorities believe the real toll is much higher, as many victims avoid reporting due to fear or shame. In response, India has built a multi-layered support system that includes coordinated fraud response across banks, telecoms, and law enforcement, and a 24/7 national helpline. Some cities have created cyber help desks and counseling centers, offering legal, technical, and even emotional support. Don't toy.
All right, so here's the deal. India is rife with scam call centers. We've seen scam bait, YouTube channel blow up and expose these guys. It's a thing, okay? Apparently they're attacking their own people. Not a surprise, dude. When you're a criminal and you're making straight cash, homie, you're going to attack. And so you're going to get thirsty and you're going to want to make all the money, okay? So they're attacking their own people. Some of these examples are outrageous, though. I did skim this particular story. I don't research or prep for the stories, but I did skim this one just because it was so wild. I just want to share something with you that's like insane. Oh my God, bro. What the? Why can't I search on this story? That's annoying. Ugh, dude. When I can't hit Control F, like, what are we doing here? Look at this one right here. Fraudsters posing as law enforcement officials. So already posing as cops, which is not cool, held a elderly woman in isolation, telling her she was under investigation for money laundering, and coerced her to transfer $2 million of her own money to overseas accounts. They basically, I don't even know why they pretended to be law enforcement. I don't know why they didn't just like basically tell her, here's the deal, we're going to physically hurt you unless you move this money. But whatever, they chose to go with the elaborate ruse approach. But dude, this is like the level of insanity that's going on in India, where these attacks are like out of control. Like, they're not even full cyber attacks, honestly. Like, dude, if I break in your house and hold you against your will and tell you that I'm going to let you out if you transfer money, that's not a cyber attack. That's a friggin' physical intrusion and like extortion or and kidnapping and ransom, except I kidnapped you in your own home. So the insanity's out of control. I would just advise everybody, best practices, protect yourself, protect your loved ones, okay? Elderly people, they're just like children as far as their susceptibility to falling for social engineering attacks. I'm not saying an elderly person is a child, okay? I'm not demoralizing or marginalizing people who are, 70 plus years old, but a lot of them grew up without tech. A lot of them grew up trusting. A lot of them are susceptible to attacks. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have retirement funds. A lot of them have financials that are good because they invested their entire life to be able to retire, not work like basically digging holes at 80 years old. And threat actors are absolutely morally bankrupt and will steal that money. So please protect your loved ones. Hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your grandma, hide your papa.
Around with security. A flaw in the Levens adult toy app left millions of users unintentionally exposed. Researchers found that with just a username, attackers could uncover private email addresses and in some cases slip inside accounts without permission. The chat-based bug allowed strangers to join in, turning intimate play into public display and leaking personal details. Levens patched things up, but experts say the patch is not fully effective and it's still a little too easy to get in.
Wow.
Attention can...
A lot of innuendos in that story. My goodness. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a device that is used for entertainment purposes between consenting adults. And the deal here is that this particular system has a mobile app that allows you to physically control. So, I mean, this is like low-key operational technology. I don't know if they're going to cover it on simply ICS Cyber. This is literally a mobile app that can change, that can affect a cyber physical system by causing this particular device, I would assume, to vibrate in some form or fashion or move. All right, you guys are terrible in chat. I'm not going to read any of these posts, but you guys with your innuendos are out of control. Oh my God. I'll just allow you guys to, if you're listening on the audio, so this is repurposed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So if you ever want to just listen to the audio, you can. I'll leave it as an exercise to the audio listeners to come find the chat at minute mark 56:30 to I know I don't own one of these. Get out of here. So check it out. Here's the deal. I will tell you, this is not the first time these particular devices have been featured in cybersecurity stories. When Bluetooth was hot for a minute back in like 2018, a lot of researchers were doing these things, and there was a story that was covered at Black Hat of someone who was able to hack in and change these things, okay? So let's talk about what the problem here is. A researcher was able to discover via API calls that you could get a user's email address. That was the big deal here. Ultimately, they're able to get an admin account, which is a big problem. And once you were able to get admin, the company itself took it quite seriously. But you were able to get an email account. I want to show you how a GRC brain works on this one, okay? This is how my GRC brain works, okay? And by the way, let me. I did read the story because this, despite what this community believes, I really don't know much about this world. Okay, I guess I'm kind of a basic B, like, you know, whatever. But I was like, why? Like, what's the big deal? Okay, here is an interesting use case for this. Sure, I could be traveling for work and provide one of these to my significant other in order to make a long distance relationship, you know, okay, that seems like the obvious use case, but
Straight cash, homie.
let's get into this right now. There are all sorts of like OnlyFans and webcam models and stuff like that, and apparently they will use these devices or whatever. I don't know how it works, but basically people who are watching, so like you in chat right now, could pay or tip or whatever. So if you gave me like don't do this, okay? But like if you gave me like $1,000 or something like that, you could send, or I would allow you to control this device for like a minute or whatever. So like you're able to like physically interact with the model on camera through this device, right? And that's a really interesting, compelling use case to make that particular business model and experience for the customer more, more engaging, okay? Now, obviously, and this was covered back in 17, 18, you've got some real issues here, because if someone's able to hack into this and get an administrator account, well, now you could actually get into a situation of like sexual assault where I'm not consented to control the device, yet I can take it over and I can send it a really, a very violent command, like vibrate violently or whatever, and cause damage or cause an unconsented action to occur. So there are real physical, impacts that could occur here, as well as just doxing. Now, stop it. Listen, I'm trying like hell here to deliver cybersecurity insights and knowledge and help people understand and work through what a risk assessment looks like. I'm doing a risk assessment on this thing right now. Get your GRC hats on. The final thing I'll say about this is, and this was more present during the Ashley Madison data breach, but here's another thing. Because I can iterate or enumerate, and I can get email addresses, okay? So it's not a big deal if I get like whatever, Tom Pine's email address. Fine, I could send a phishing email. That might be the obvious thing here. However, let's play it forward. They have 1 million clients. I enumerate all 1 million clients and get all their email addresses. And now I can cross-reference those email addresses with other sources I have. And maybe I'm able to discover a female pastor who has one of these things, right? Or I'm able to detect a school teacher who has one of these things, or somebody who's like ultra, like conformist or whatever. Like basically, you might be able to use the email address to tie an identity to an account holder and then tie that identity to basically disclose something about them privately that they wouldn't want you to know. You see what I'm saying, right? So that's a really interesting dimension of a risk assessment for this particular device. Now, obviously, for me and for my money, if I was thinking like a threat actor, I would just try to enumerate this and find who these models are that are getting paid out with these things, and then go target that, because that's where the money is. But that doesn't mean that everyone that uses these things and their email address is getting doxxed could not be victimized. So just be mindful of that. And anyways, I just wanted, like, for me personally, I wanted to demonstrate how I, as a GRC risk professional, would view this story. Yes, on the surface, it's a pink toy that, like we're having a lot of fun in chat and making all sorts of jokes and stuff. But if you peel it back and actually think through the impact here and who could be impacted and what that impact could look like and what's the depth of the risk that it could manifest as, that to me is like why you would get paid as a risk professional, okay? So use that as a case study. I'm glad Tyler Ramsby's having a good time in chat. He's not going to be a faceless squad member in the background, because he's going to be coming on chat right now and sharing his things. He obviously will be walking a fine line as to not get YouTube community violations, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, guys, what a fun story. Thank you, CISO Series, for making me walk through that minefield. Don't go anywhere, because we got jawjacking coming up, but I do want to say thank you all so very much for joining the Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. This was episode 931. I was your host, Dr. Gerald Auger. High fives across the board. We will be in Vegas next week, doing the show from the studio, from the hotel. High fives everywhere. The Simply Cyber Community Meetup, as always, on Friday, August 8th. We're going to be doing things, and it's going to be all about good times. But don't go anywhere. As I promised in the intro, Cyber Lorian with a super chat.
Just become best friends. Yep.
I watch Simply Cyber live every morning in the SOC, and for the first time, I don't know what to explain to my manager about what's going on the screen. Cyber Lorian, I hope I didn't put you in a bad position, buddy. Here, hey, go grab your boss really quickly. Go grab your boss really quickly. Wait, hold on. As you, like, just for the Cyber Lord, as you can see, chat. We've got cyber attacks attacking pharmacies in the Russian space. You do want to have an uptick in activity on the threat landscape on threat actors targeting Russian space and Greater Asian. We're suspecting that this is a Ukrainian-backed attack, although that information is unconfirmed at that time. We have low confidence. If you are working in a SOC, take mind of this and check your threat intelligence feeds immediately. Thank you very much. All right, end clip. Cyberlorian, go ahead and roll that back and then have your boss walk by and just play it like it's live. All right, guys. Hey, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. High fives across the board. Be good. I leave you in the very capable hands of my friend Tyler Ramsby, pen tester, who can help you answer your questions. Until next time, everybody, stay secure. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea how to follow up after that story, but yo, I am super excited to be hanging out with you. If this is one of your first times on the show, you joined for a very interesting day, but we are now at the jaw-jacking segment. If you have questions, guys, I can never talk in the morning. I don't know how Jerry does this. I need to like rap on my way to work. Sorry for the coughing attack, but if you have questions about cybersecurity, GRC, blue team, red team, penetration testing, whatever questions you have, maybe not whatever questions you have, but if you have some good questions, feel free to ask them in chat. Make sure you preface them with the Q so that I know it is a question and I do not miss it. So let me go ahead and get chat pulled up. I will turn on the chat overlay. And I really don't know how Jerry kept it together in that last story. That's a whole nother level of professionalism. I was just cracking jokes the entire time in chat and Discord, but that was fun. It brings our community together when we talk about insider threats. All right, let me scroll down. Let's see if I'm missing anything in chat. Once again, guys, if you have any questions, maybe a little bit about me real quick before we dive in. I am a pen tester by day, so that's what I do for my full-time job. I get paid to hack all the things, and then at night, I create content. I have my own YouTube channel. I live stream all the time, release videos all the time, all about ethical hacking. And so that's kind of my expertise, but I did spend some time as a senior analyst on the blue team, and also happy to answer any questions you might have about careers, blue team, red team, all of those things. Looks like we have a pinned comment. Thank you, Jerry. So CJ asked the question. Oh, sorry. Jerry must have pulled it up and I clicked it and made it disappear potentially. I'm trying to hit show and it's not showing. There we go. How is the new workspace going? It is going well. So for those of you who do not know, starting October 1st, I am going full-time for myself. I work for a pen testing company now, but I'm very limited on I'm very limited on content that I can create. I have to do all of it very late at night when my kids are sleeping, and really was getting burnt out trying to essentially juggle 2 full-time jobs. So on October 1st, I am working for myself full-time. I'll be doing a mix of content creation, teaching, as well as starting my own pen testing firm. But as part of that, to make it a little more official, I also moved out of my basement, at least for my primary work office. So I actually bought an office in my town. If you go to my YouTube channel, I did a full tour video of this office, but it is amazing. Like, I miss hanging out with my kids during the workday, but I do not miss the sound of elephants and a rock band above me. But I'm only like a 5-minute bike ride from my house, so I still go home for my lunch breaks. We hang out, we go to playgrounds, all of those fun things. But the new office is going well. That is where I'm streaming out of right now. So thank you, CJ, for asking. Also, thank you again for lining up all the details for the DEF CON meetup. I'm super excited to see all of you at the meetup. All right, we got space tacos. Is there a better way to hack into those sorts of devices? You know, based on the way the show went, I think Jerry has a greater expertise and a use case on how those devices are used in the real world and doing risk analysis on them. So if you want more information about how those devices work, the security behind them, and how you can have a defense in-depth layer on your personal device, I recommend reaching out to Jerry. He does seem to be our local expert for those devices. All right, next question. How would I best position my experience to focus on AI red teaming? Lots of AI researcher positions that are actually pen testing. So this is a brand new field. So what I'm going to tell you, you really need to take it with a grain of salt because I am not, well, I actually do AI red teaming, but it's not the core of my job. And I think when it comes to red teaming or pen testing, before you can really specialize in one area, you need to just get your foot in the door. And if you want to become a pen tester, generally speaking, this isn't true across the board, but generally speaking, the best skills that you can get are web app pen testing skills. Almost every organization has a public-facing web app, and because it's public-facing, it has the largest attack surface, and web apps are generally the least complex and cheaper pen test to do, so most organizations for their first pen test is going to do a web app pen test. If you are a junior pen tester, you're going to spend a lot of your time doing web app pen testing. Once you get comfortable with that, then you can specialize. So like where I work right now, we do AI and LLM pen testing. I've actually created some custom tooling for that purpose. It's internal. I can't share the tooling with you, but that's how I did. I started with web apps and then I expanded to include basically everything else. So I do web apps, networks, all three major cloud providers, LLM AI, mobile apps, social engineering. I'm sure I'm missing it. You name it, I probably do it, but I started with web apps and then every opportunity I had when my supervisor was like, hey, we have this pen test coming up. Do you know how to do it? My answer always was no, but give me like 2 weeks. I will fully skill up and I'll be ready for that pen test. And that's how I've grown into each one of these areas. So that would, as far as getting into it, it's the same as any other pen testing role. I would focus on publishing your own research, doing CVE hunting, looking into jailbreaks, and having like your own personal brand and platform with the focus on AI red teaming and research. How is that Linux new computer going? Is it worth the price tag? I mean, the price tag isn't any different than a Windows machine. I don't remember what I paid, honestly, like $1,400 or $1,500, but it is a System 76. I'll let you guys Google it. I didn't even know they were a thing, but System 76 is a laptop and desktop computer manufacturer, but they make Linux specific machines, like all the way down to the hardware is all made to run on Linux. So that's who I switched over because I don't like Windows and I don't like Macs. And so I use Ubuntu as my primary OS. Usually I'd like just wipe Windows off a computer and install it, but I gave System 76 a shot and the computer works really well. That's what I'm streaming off of right now. So if you are into Linux computers, check out System 76. They're an awesome organization from my experience. I have a friend that is starting a red/purple team at a poor university. Interesting. They have a strong, aren't all universities poor? They have a strong blue team and pass third-party pen test. What is the first pro tip that comes to mind that they need? The first pro tip that comes to mind is you need to understand the business impact and kind of the goals of the business. This is where, like, when people think of pen testing, we generally think hack all the things. But at the end of the day, if you cannot communicate well with non-technical people, especially those in the C-suite and the decision makers, you're going to do a terrible job as a pen tester. Before you can go anywhere with pen testing, you really need to be able to have really good conversations with those decision makers. So honestly, my best advice is not technical advice. My best advice is get good at communicating. If you have anyone in your life that's in that like C-level position, reach out to them just to get a feel for like, what are your concerns? What are you looking for? Or have that conversation with your supervisor or your boss. I don't know what their role actually looks like, but that's honestly what I'd recommend. Before all the technical advice, I'd recommend you need to focus on your communication skills and build a very healthy relationship with the decision makers in the organization, because pen testing and red teaming is very much adversarial focused. So you need to be an adversary on the technical side of things. You do not want to be an adversary when it comes to communicating and helping the organization understand and remediate those vulnerabilities and risks. Boxing related. Who would be your dream sparring partner if you could choose any boxer in the history of ever? Well, if I boxed Jake Paul, I would make a bunch of money. So we'll just say Jake Paul. I would love to spar with him because I'm pretty sure his sparring partners get paid, and then I don't have to stream 10 nights a week. But no, as far as like dream sparring box or dream sparring partner, I don't know. Like, you would think that you would choose people like Mike Tyson, but to be honest, I don't want to get knocked out or get my ear bit off. And so I would prefer not to spar someone who's incredibly talented at boxing because I'll get the crap beat out of me. I will say probably one of the most well-known names that I've sparred, and you can look him up, is Josh Dyer. Josh Dyer is currently the light heavyweight champ of bare knuckle fighting championship. He is from my area. I did like 4 or 5 rounds of sparring with him while he was preparing for his championship fight locally. I can say that I did not get knocked out, and we both took it rather light, but he landed some good shots at me. I am proud to say I did punch him in the face a handful of times, and I lived to tell the tale. So he was a lot of fun. If you can find someone who is good at boxing, but also understands that the purpose of sparring is not to win, but rather to help each other get better, whoever is able to do that, that's who I want to spar with. Man, lots of good questions today. I have an interview for a help desk position later today. Any last minute tips, and are there any questions you recommend asking at the end of the interview? First, congratulations. The fact that you made it to the interview shows me that your resume does not suck, which having a good resume is a major part of the battle of breaking into today's job market. And honestly, the job market is rough as well. I heard Jerry talk about this yesterday on the stream, and I agree with him. It's tough, the job market. So congratulations on making it to the interview. When it comes to the interview itself, a few pieces of advice. One is, remember, you are interviewing them just as much as they are interviewing you. So look for red flags, look to see, like, do they have a sense of humor, things like that. Because even if you get the job and it sucks, you're not going to be happy. I'll give you one quick example of this. Back when I was trying to break into cyber, I left the help desk and I landed what I thought was my dream job. I was the team lead over a cybersecurity team that did like MSP work for a large ISP in my area. Good pay. Guys, I quit the job after 2 days. It's not even on my resume, but legit, I quit my dream job after only 2 days because the work environment was toxic. I won't share too many details because this is a big organization and I have no idea if they will ever watch this, but suffice it to say, when I got there, it was really unhealthy. On my second day, I met with HR, my direct supervisor, and just explained, like, guys, this is not a healthy team. Like, what is going on here? And they legit told me, we know it isn't, but one of the reasons we hired you is because you are a pastor, and we're hoping that you can bring a little more health to the team. So I was like, yo, I was a pastor. I left that field for a reason. I am not going to be your consultant to bring out greater health, and I quit the job after 2 days. So recognize that you are interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. As far as asking questions at the end of the interview, the one question that's performed really well for me is this one. So if you were interviewing me, I'd say this: hey, you've had the opportunity to look over my resume and go through a full interview with me. I want you to put on your coaching hat. So take off your interviewer hat, put on your coaching hat, and just give me very honest, critical feedback. What did I do well in this interview, and what do I really need to work on? That question will show that, number one, you are teachable, which is what most employers are looking for, that you're teachable and willing to listen to feedback. But number two, it will also give you an idea, hey, am I actually in the running for this job? And number three, it helps build that personal relationship. There was one job when I was applying for IT that I went through the full interview. I didn't get the job. They called me a month later saying, hey, we have another opening. We want to hire you. Just based on how I did in the interview, I found a job, so I didn't take it. But that's taken me really far when it comes to interview questions. Also, we do have a raid premiere for one of the podcasts. Which one is that? Let me pull up Mod Chat. Did someone mention it in Mod Chat? You guys tell me which podcast it is, because Jerry posted a link, but I can't see it. If I click it, I don't want to break any of the live stream stuff. But we are doing a raid in 10 minutes, so I'll knock out a few more questions real quick. What is your take on taking a SANS GIAC exam without using their training course? It's much cheaper, and I feel my years in the field plus some study and review will do it. I've never done the Cyber Mentors podcast. Thank you, Jerry. I have never done a SANS cert. I've had opportunities to do them, but I turned them down. Like, my issue with SANS is I believe their training itself and their instructors are top tier. But correct me if I'm wrong, all of their hacking certifications are literally multiple choice exams. A hacking certification should not be multiple choice, especially when you're spending that level of money. If OffSec and TryHackMe and Hack the Box and TCM can all do fully hands-on exams, surely SANS, with what they're charging for their courses, can do hands-on exams as well. So I've just never done it. I don't know their exam process. Besides, I'm pretty sure it's all multiple choice. So honestly, it likely wouldn't be that hard to pass because it is all multiple choice. Boxing, how much would you demand in money to go 30 seconds with Mike Tyson in Prime? I'm glad you mentioned Prime. I would do it like current Mike Tyson. I would jump in the ring with him anytime. He could still outbox me, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think he can knock me out. To go in his prime, oh man, at least $1 million. Well, you know what? 30 seconds. I don't think Mike Tyson in his prime can knock me out in 30 seconds if I only focused on running away from him for 30 seconds. He's quick, right? Don't get me wrong. But if I'm not actually trying to box back and I'm just like trying to hide from getting knocked out, I think I could last 30 seconds. So we'll just say $1 million with the understanding that I'm not going to throw a punch. I'm literally backpedaling the entire time. If he gets too close, I'm turning my back and literally running, or I'm going to grapple and hug with him for 30 seconds until I get that money. Because I know in a real fight with Prime Mike Tyson, my jaw's going to get freaking smashed. What do you use to edit videos on Ubuntu? Trying to figure out what software to use. Just don't screw up when you make your video, then you don't have to edit it. Just playing. Most of my videos, guys, legit are one takes. I don't do much editing at all on my videos because I hate video editing. But I use Shotcut. Shotcut's a very simple video editor. You can also use DaVinci Resolve, another free open source video editor on Linux. But if you like are big into video editing, it's probably a better idea to use Windows or Mac. I am trying to get better at using CrowdStrike. Any video recommendations? Do you have any that cover CrowdStrike? I have no experience with CrowdStrike on the blue team. I have a little bit of experience dealing with it on the perspective of a red team, but I've never configured or used CrowdStrike. You should reach out to the Barricade Cyber people, Eric Taylor and Justin Gold. I know that they use CrowdStrike, but I don't have any recommendations. Yeah, sorry. Interested in your thoughts on Kali's latest release, Kali GPT. Kali GPT is not affiliated with Kali. It was a attempt. I'm surprised they didn't get sued, to be honest with you. Kali GPT is completely different than Kali and OffSec. Kali GPT is not an official GPT of OffSec or Kali Linux. And by the way, OffSec, you might as well just, send me another free OSCP voucher for me clearing this up for people. I've never used Kali GPT, so I have no thoughts on it besides their whole marketing scheme of hijacking the Kali name to promote their GPT, I think is unethical and just bad. Don't do that. All right, I'm trying to get through as many questions as I can because I know we're almost to the time for rating the Cyber Mentors podcast. How can I speed up or automate penetration testing report writing? Do you write them in Word? So generally speaking, when you get a job, here, let me look at this chat. So, okay, 7 minutes, sweet. Thank you, Jerry. Generally, when you get a job as a penetration tester, most pen test firms have their own internal software for pen test report writing that speeds up the process for you. You still have to manually write out all the steps and remediation stuff, but a lot of the boilerplate text and vulnerabilities, like it's nicely done. In most pen testing orgs, you're not going to be writing your pen tests in Word more than likely. There's also some good tooling like Sysraptor, Ghostwriter, things like that. And hey, maybe as a little plug, I do plan on coming out with a practical pen test report writing course sometime either in late 2025 or early 2026, where I show you how to set up a full pen test report writing lab using some of that software, how to import vulnerabilities, and how to write a proper pen test report. So stay tuned for that. But I would say look into some of those open source options such as Sysraptor and Ghostwriter. And if you can get those configured, it will speed up penetration testing significantly. Oh, sweet. And Jerry just told me we have Michelle Kahns. So if you guys know Simply Cyber Academy, it is Simply Cyber's course area. It's amazing. I have a handful of courses there. My friend Ryan has red team courses. Jerry has some GRC stuff, but we're dropping a brand new course today. Michelle Kahn's OSINT for pen testers. I'm telling you guys, this course is top tier. It is well worth your time and money. If you want to learn how to do OSINT for all things pen testing, from network pen tests to phishing to social engineering, he covers all of it in great detail. So I'm guessing we'll be dropping an announcement about that later on, sending out an email and all of those things. But I'm telling you, you guys are going to like it. The beta testers were blown away by the quality. Michelle Kahn is an amazing instructor, an even better person, and he'll also be at the meetup in DEF CON, so make sure you guys swing through. But that is dropping today. That's amazing. Thank you, Jerry, for the info. 5 more minutes. I have 3 SAN certs, and each had a hands-on portion called Cyber Live, where you had to apply technical knowledge and skills. Really? As part of the exam, Rick? My understanding is they were all multiple choice. I'm glad to stand corrected, though. I'm going to have to really dig into that. I don't know if that's something new they added. Like, I know there's some people on my team where I work who have SAN certs, and when they did them, it was all multiple choice. There was hands-on stuff in the course itself, but the actual exam was all multiple choice. But if there is some hands-on stuff, I stand corrected. I'll have to check it out. Thank you. Thank you for the information. I really do appreciate it. All right, I'm going to go over to all comments. I see one question here. Let me scroll down. Oh, if I can switch down. John asked this good question. Biggest challenges you see when you start working for yourself? So I've been kind of documenting this whole experience on my YouTube channel. But I would say by far the biggest challenge is the mindset and like dealing with anxiety and burnout. It's hard to describe if you've never like been an owner of something. I had this similar thing when I was in the church world. I was a church planner and started a church from scratch. But like finances, of course, is always a worry, but I have decent savings, so I'm not too concerned about that. But what I mean is like, I'm not joking, guys. When I say even now, before I'm even full-time for myself, even now, dealing with like massive anxiety on a daily basis is no joke. Like, I have this tendency to live and die by looking at metrics, whether it's YouTube views, LinkedIn, course sales. Like, starting October 1st, it is up to me fully. Either I am going to make enough money to pay bills or I am not. And so as I prep for this, it's like, it really is a roller coaster where some days you're like, awesome, I'm doing great. Like, I'm going to be able to pay my bills. And the next day it's like, dang, no one's going through any courses and people aren't mad about paywalls, right? So it really is this massive anxiety that you have to push through every single day, knowing that it is up to you. But the tendency for me when I deal with that anxiety is to then overwork myself and essentially become a workaholic. But I also don't want to sacrifice my family on an altar of success. So I'm trying to find this middle balance where I work hard, but I also know how to disconnect and be present to my family, because at the end of the day, if I succeed going full solo for myself, let's say this isn't going to happen, but let's say I succeed and make $1 million, right? I get to a point where I'm making $1 million a year, but I have no relationship with my family because all I do is spend my time working. That is a failure. If I prioritize the wrong things, that is a failure. So that is my biggest concern. That is my biggest battle of dealing with that daily anxiety, imposter syndrome, and mental health battle, while still trying to be present to my wife and my kids. So it's tough. Mental health matters. It's really hard to figure those things out. So Jerry, drop Jerry's comment because I think it's good. Jerry said, I'm super proud of the fact that I've been able to be present for my wife and kids while doing my job work. That's one of my greatest wins. Exactly. If you've never done it, it's so much more difficult than it sounds. But hey, guys, we are at 8:30 my time, 9:30 Eastern, and it is the premiere of the Cyber Mentors podcast. And we are going to do a raid over there. What that means, if you go to the Simply Cyber YouTube channel, you will see that it is kicking off in 1 minute. So guys, I'm going to end this live stream. I'll join you guys over in the raid, but make sure everybody heads over there, show some support, watch that show. But I will see you guys there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.